Hey guys and gals, it's Mr. V. Hey, we are on to our next learning video. So to recap, we have talked about um, whole number place value, decimal place value, and now we are starting to talk about comparing numbers. So the big idea of all of this place value stuff is to understand that every place value is 10 times greater, or the place value smaller is 1/10 the size. So if I start with and I say, how big is the hundredths of the tenths? Since the hundredths is smaller, I would say it's 1/10 the size because it's one jump. But if I said the tenths is how big is the tenths to the hundredths, I would say it's 10 times greater. So you really have to slow yourself down and know what they're asking you. If they're asking you how much is the bigger one and it's one jump, it's 10 times. If they're asking you how small is the one that's two jumps away, you would make the two jumps and say 1/100th. So that's kind of the big thought process, the higher level thinking of this lesson. It's okay to think for now like it's 10 times greater, 10 times smaller every jump, but we want to eventually start learning and understanding how to use that 1/10 and understand that it's that the smaller place value, the one behind the bigger guy, is 1/10 the size. So that's what we've been doing for the past few days. We started really learning how to write numbers in expanded form and standard form. And then today we are going to start talking about how to compare numbers, both whole numbers and decimals, but we're going to kind of have more of a focus on decimals. So again, make sure you have your notebook open to a new page, and we're just going to put compare decimal numbers. Now, in class, I will give you something to be able to cut out and glue into your notebook for a little bit of notes to understanding how to do this. But comparing decimal numbers and comparing decimal numbers in general is never really that difficult. You just have a few rules. So we'll kind of get right to it. If I have the number 3.61 and then I have the number 36.1, you look at them, and some of you might easily be able to tell, oh, I know which one's bigger by far. Others might see they look like very similar digits, so people might even think, oh, well, these are the same. In order to compare numbers, you have to line up your place values. That is going to be the number one key right there. So when I ask that in class tomorrow, that's what I want you to know. You have to line up your place values. Obviously, we have to know our place values, and then we have to understand that every place value, like I just said, is 10 times greater, or the 1/10 is great. We have to know which place values are bigger and smaller, but we have to have our place values lined up. If we do not have our place values lined up, we're going to get it wrong. For instance, if I do this, and you can just watch this, you don't have to write this down. If I just lined my numbers up, I just lined all the digits up because you see there's three digits here, there's three digits here. This number looks the same. I have a 3, a 6, and a 1. But this number is definitely not the same, okay? Because if you look, where the decimals are in different spots. Here, the decimal is behind the 3. Here, the decimal is behind the 6 and the 3. So these are very much two different numbers. So this is not how you do it. You do not line up the digits. You line up your place values. And how you're going to do that is it doesn't matter which number you write. I can write this one first. You just write the first number, and you're just going to write the first number normally. The second number, you're then going to write by lining up the place values. When you have a decimal, here's what I strongly suggest. For this number, we have 36.1. I'm going to put the decimal down right under the other decimal. Boom. Just like that. So this decimal then goes here. Okay. And then look what's right in front of the decimal. I have a 6. I have a 3. And that's where that goes. And then right behind the decimal, I have a 1. Now notice there's no number here and there's no number here. Well, we learned yesterday, or from our last lesson, that we can put zeros at the end of decimals and in front of whole numbers and make what they're called equivalent. These are equivalent because that means I didn't change the value, they just look different. So then what we could do is, now that they are lined up, they look nice and neat, we can start comparing them. So what you're going to do is you're going to line them up. That's what we already did. And then you're going to cover up the number, and you're going to start at the largest place value, which would be to the left. So you start to the left, and you go, are those the same? And right away, your answer is no. So when you compare it, you would say that this number here is larger. So then we're going to use just like that. Okay? Remember, when the mouth here is always eating the bigger number. Okay? So this would be considered less than. So 3.61, 3 and 61/100 is less than 36 and 1/10 is what that truly says. Okay? But to really understand how to do it, the first thing you need to do is line up the place values. Okay? Once we get the place values lined up, not the digits, line up the place values. Okay? So I'm going to give you a couple hints and tricks to do this. Okay? Line up the decimals. That's going to be another big key. That's the same thing as lining up the place values, but it's kind of how, like I said, when I did it up here, I'm going to put the decimals down first. So I'm going to put it for the first one. Write the first number down. And I'm going to do it down here. So let's say, again, I have two numbers. Let's say I have 71 and 32/100, and then I have 732 or 713 and 2/10. So again, I'm going to do one where it has very similar digits. The first thing I'm going to do when I do this problem is I'm going to write down the first number. So I'm going to rewrite 71.32. That's what I'm first going to do. Write the first number down. Boom. Okay. Then I'm going to write the decimal of the second number. Now, some of you will not need to do this because you can see it right away, and that's okay. I'm kind of showing you if you get stuck or you don't know how to do this. So I'm kind of starting from scratch. Some of you already know how to do it. That's perfectly fine. You'll be able to kind of skip some of these steps, okay? But we only skip steps when we're ready to. So then, again, wrote the first number down. Now write the decimal of the second number. Boom. And when I'm going to do that, I'm going to put him right under this decimal. Again, the whole goal here is to line the numbers up. Okay. Then I'm going to write the numbers to the left and right. Oh, I should put the word and, sorry. And right of the decimal. Sorry, I got a little weird there. Of the decimal. Okay. So basically what I'm trying to say there is I'm going to now write all the numbers that I know. So again, I see 713. So I see the 3, the 1, and the 7, and then I see a 2. I'm basically lining the numbers up. Okay. I'm lining the digits up based on their place value. That's all these rules are saying. All I'm doing is breaking it down step by step what I'm actually doing. But all I'm doing is what this says here. I am lining them up. So if you already know how to line up place values without doing any of this, great. Go for it. Okay. I'm just simply showing some of us how to actually do that. Okay. So that's how I would do it. And then again, your next step is going to be cover up the numbers and look at the highest place value first. And that's going to be a big key too. So this step and this step are the two biggest ones. Line up the place values. This just tells you how to do it. And then number 4 would be cover up the numbers, look at the highest place value. So again, we're going to cover everything up. You can put these extra zeros down if you want. You don't have to. I normally don't. But again, you do what's best for you. So cover it up. Difference or same? Boom, right away, they're different. So beep, beep, beep. This one is the greater number. So if I rewrote it, I would say 71.32 is less than 713 and 2/10. So that's how you would kind of go about doing that. Okay, so we'll do a couple examples just to make sure that you are understanding and you're seeing how to do it. So what if I had, and this is how you're going to see it in your book, 6.4, then you're going to have a 0, or it's not a 0. This is where your answer is going to go. That's where the greater than, less than, or equal sign is going to go. And then you're going to have, let's see, 6.32. 6.32. So when you look at this number, if you didn't understand decimal place value, you would think this number is greater. And the big misconception is this guy has more digits, so he's bigger. But if we just follow the rules, so we come over here, line up the place values. How do I do that? I'm going to rewrite the first number. So rewrite the first number, 6.4. Then I'm going to write the decimal of the second number right underneath, and then I'm going to fill the numbers in. There's the 6 on this side, 3 and 2 on this side. Again, if you look, it still looks like the bottom number is bigger, but remember how decimals work, okay? The higher place value is the bigger number. So if you covered everything up, and you'd ask, are the ones placed the same? Yes. Are the tenths placed the same? No. Who's greater? This guy is. So even though he has more digits, it does not matter. This guy could have all these digits below back. He could have all the numbers going all the way back here. Because the 4 is greater than the 3, the tenths always beat anything behind it. Because remember, the tenths are 10 times greater than everything, than the hundredths, and so on. So this 4 is bigger than this 3. That means no matter what, however many digits this guy has, this guy is the greater number. And that's why lining up, that's how decimal comparing numbers can be different. Okay? So be careful with that. Let's do another one. Let's say 7.42. Put our little symbol, to put our little circle to put our answer. And let's go 7.463. So again, same thing. Rewrite your first number, 7.42. Okay, so 7 and 42 hundredths. Rewrite the second number. And again, you can just rewrite it. I'm just showing you how to do it flawlessly every time. So you do what's best for you. I'm going to write the decimal here. 7 goes in front. 463 goes in back. I'm going to put that 0 up here to make myself feel better. So it looks like I have equal digits, and I'm going to cover up. Are the ones placed the same? Yes. Tenths placed the same? Yes. Hundredths? No. Beep, 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 beep. There, right there tells me that's the bigger number. And I always have the mouth eating the bigger number. Okay. So let's do one more problem. And then that's really all there is to it for comparing. Okay. So let's say it's 3 and 1. Let's say 3.142 and 3.6. Oops, you can't see that. Sorry. So again, you have these numbers. So again, I'm going to off to the side, show my work. I'm just going to rewrite this first number. There's my first number. All I did was rewrite it. Then I'm going to rewrite my second one. There's my decimal. 3, 6. And again, I'm just going to cover up. Same. Yep. Same. Nope. But remember, the 6 is greater than the 1 in the tenths place. So this number here, even though less digits, is greater. Okay. The other thing we're going to talk about is ordering numbers. Ordering numbers is really the same thing as comparing them. You're just going to have 3 numbers in a row, or you're going to have 3 or 4 numbers, not 2. So say I have 2.6, 3.7, 2.49, and I'm going to need to put them in there. First off, you have to know, is it greatest to least or least to greatest? That's what you first have to know. They will always tell you. You just have to make sure you know what you're doing. So let's go least to greatest. Let's go smallest to biggest. So what we're going to do is, again, we're going to line them up. No rule changes here. We're just doing extra. So line up the decimal. So line up the place value. And even under in parentheses, I'm going to put decimals. Line up the decimals. So again, I'm going to write my first number, 2.6. Except this time I'm going underneath. So there's my decimal, 3.7. And then here I have 2.49. So there's my decimal. Let's see, 49 goes there, 2 goes there. And I am going to put my equivalent zeros there to make myself feel better. So now I have them all lined up. Now what you're going to do here is, since we want to go least to greatest, I'm looking for the smallest one first. So now I'm going to cover everything up. I'm going to go, okay, Are they all the same? No, but the 3 is the greatest. So that means he's out. So I already know, I'm going to put a 3 by him. I already know he's the greatest number because 3 is the biggest. So now I'm looking at the top and the bottom. Okay. So then I'm going to cover that up again. Now this number's out. You can even you could even gently cross them out if you want to. You don't have to. I wouldn't, but you could. So if you look here, you're between a 4 and a 6. And again, you're looking for the least. 4 smaller than 6. So that means this guy's the first guy you'll write. This guy's the second. Okay. So then all you got to do is rewrite it. So you would just say 2 and 49/100 is first, 2 and 6/10 is second, and 3 and 7/10 is third. And that's how you would order them. Again, same concept. You're still lining them up. This time you're just you might want to put some numbers there to rank them on what you're doing. What if we did greatest to least? So let's go 7.6, 8.32, and 0.94. Okay, so let's just, again, line them up. Okay, so I'm going to write down the first digit first, 7.6. Now I'm going to work around that. So I'm going to put my decimal here, put my 8 in front, my 3, 2 in back, put my 0 there since that makes me feel better. I have a decimal here, put 9.4 in back to put my 0 in front. So this time I'm going greatest to least. So I want the greatest number first. Okay, and again, the directions will tell you which one you're doing. Cover them all up. Look at the highest place value first. What is the highest place value? It is the 8. So that means he's number 1. So I'm going to put a number 1 by him. Right away, you can already tell he's number 2. And then he's number 3. So there's no reason to go back to any other digits. So we're good. We're done. All you got to do is then rewrite them. You cannot leave it like this. You need to rewrite. 8 and 32/100 is first. 7 and 6/10 is second. And then 94/100 is third. And that's all that there is to it. You just have to really slow yourself down. Get them lined up first. That's the biggest thing, is to get the place values lined up. The tenths have to be under the tenths, the ones under the ones, the hundredths under the hundredths. If you don't line them up, then unfortunately that's where the issues will come. All right. Hopefully this makes sense, guys. We'll practice more in class. Reach out with questions.